I can keep a secret, kid. You got my mind on your body and your body on my mind, yeah. I can keep a secret, kid. You got my mind on your body and your body on my mind, yeah.
This vote, the yeas are 215, the nays are 213. Previous question is not ordered. Is ordered. Gavel. Questions on the adoption resolution. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. Opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. What purpose does the gentleman from Massachusetts
I ask for a recorded vote.
Recorded vote is requested. Those favoring a recorded vote will rise. Sufficient number having arisen. Recorded vote is ordered. Members to record their vote by electronic device. This is a 5-minute vote. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. Committee to chair, the ayes have it. On this vote, the yeas are 206, the nays are 222. The resolution is not adopted. Without objection, motion to reconsider laid upon the table. Pursuant to Clause 8 of Rule 20, the unfinished business is on the vote on the motion, Gentleman, Missouri. Mr. Smith, to suspend the rules, H.R. 1491 as amended. The yeas and nays order. Clerk report the title.
Union Calendar Number 30, H.R. 1491, a bill to amend the Internal Revenue Code of 1986 to make the postponement of certain deadlines by reason of disasters applicable to the limitation on credit or refund, and to take postponements into account for purposes of sending collection notices.
Members who record their votes. Now, the question is, will the House suspend the rules, pass the bill as amended? Members will record their votes by electronic device. This is a 5-minute vote.
On this vote, the yeas are 423, the nays are 0. 2/3 being in the affirmative, the rules are suspended. The bill is passed, and without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table. For what purpose does the gentleman from Georgia seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker, by direction of the Republican Conference, I offer the privileged resolution and ask for its immediate consideration.
The clerk will report the resolution.
House Resolution 283. Resolved that the following named member be and is hereby elected to the following standing committee of the House of Representatives. Committee on Foreign Affairs, Mr. McCormick, to rank immediately after Mr. Self.
Without objection, the resolution is agreed to, and the motion to reconsider is laid on the table. The chair lays before the House an enrolled resolution.
House Joint Resolution 25, providing for congressional disapproval under Chapter 8 of Title 5 United States Code of the rules submitted by the Internal Revenue Service relating to gross proceeds reporting by brokers that regularly provide services effectuating digital asset sales.
The chair will now entertain requests for 1-minute speeches. For what purpose does the gentleman from Georgia seek recognition?
Ask unanimous consent to address the House for 1 minute to revise and extend my remarks.
Without objection, the gentleman is recognized for 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today to honor the life and the legacy of Lieutenant Malcolm A. Champagne, a World War II veteran and Purple Heart recipient who passed away in December. As a true patriot, he told his parents on December 17, 1942, "The country is in trouble. I need to go," and commissioned into the Army Air Forces. He serves as a member of the 8th Air Force, which was activated in Savannah, Georgia in January of 1942. The 8th Air Force, commonly referred to as the Mighty 8th, is regarded as one of the greatest air forces in history. On October 14, 1943, the day known as Black Thursday, Lieutenant Champagne's B-17 bomber was attacked and plummeted from the sky. He was captured by the Nazis, but despite injuries, malnutrition, and psychological distress, his spirit remained unbroken. On April 29, 1945, he was liberated after 18 months in captivity. In 2023, 80 years after his service in World War II, Lieutenant Champagne was awarded a Purple Heart at the age of 102. Malcolm Champagne's legacy of bravery, patriotism, and strength will continue to inspire generations of Americans. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I yield back.
The gentleman yields. For what purpose does the gentleman from Texas seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent to address the House for 1 minute.
Without objection, the gentleman is recognized for 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today in opposition of the so-called SAVE Act. This bill, coupled with the President's executive order on elections, is a crazy and disgusting, thinly veiled attempt at disenfranchising legal citizens from voting. It claims to make it illegal for non-citizens to vote, which we already know is not a problem. But this bill would also disenfranchise millions of Americans who don't even have a passport. Millions of Americans do not have a passport. It also hurts people that were born in rural America, people that were born during a time where births were recorded in family Bibles. This would just really be devastating. It would also hurt women whose legal name does not match their birth name. It would end automatic voter registration by mail, and other reforms many states have adopted, overriding federalism and state control over elections. This bill is part of a long-term effort by Republicans to literally make it harder to vote. And so I urge my colleagues, when this bill comes up, to vote no, because it would be a disaster for America and a disaster for democracy. Mr. Speaker, I yield back.
Gentleman yields. For what purpose does the gentleman from Maryland seek recognition? Without objection, the gentleman is recognized for 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, the average American already thinks that you actually have to be a U.S. citizen to vote in a federal election. But the fact of the matter is our laws have loopholes. You don't have citizenship such as a birth certificate. The bottom line is that Americans expect that only American citizens and not the 12 million illegal aliens who entered under the last administration are going to be voting in federal elections. They expect it. They expect Congress to do something about it. And, Mr. Speaker, I urge Congress to take action and pass the SAVE Act. I yield back.
The gentleman yields. For what purpose does the gentleman from Arizona seek recognition?
Unanimous consent to address House for 1 minute. Advise my remarks.
Without objection, the gentleman is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let me tell you something. In Arizona, we have two kinds of ballots. We're the only state. We're really unique this way. And it's a result of a federal case. You have state ballots which require you prove citizenship to vote on, but not so on federal ballots. That means for members of Congress, U.S. Senate, and for the President of the United States, you do not have to show citizenship. You don't have to show identification. The SAVE Act is required if we're going to have election integrity. I encourage my colleagues to vote for that. It'll make the federal law in Arizona correspond to the state law. That will help Arizona's election integrity. And I conclude my remarks and yield back.
The gentleman yields. For what purpose does the gentlelady from Ohio seek recognition? Without objection, the gentlelady is recognized for 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today to highlight this administration's lies to the American people about Social Security. On the campaign trail, President Trump promised to protect your hard-earned Social Security benefits. However, now he has sent trickster Elon Musk and his flim-flam government agency DOGE after the Social Security database. Michelle King was the Deputy Commissioner for Operations at the Social Security Administration for only 28 days before stepping down because she refused to grant the fraudsters at DOGE access to the Social Security database and all of the sensitive personal data it holds on everyday Americans. Bravo, Michelle. But the administration got rid of her and replaced her with Leland Dudek, a man who is already under investigation for sharing highly sensitive data with the DOGE team. While courts across our country step in to try and stop DOGE, its destabilization continues at an alarming rate. And I'm concerned Elon Musk wants to privatize Social Security, and he, through his new computer company that he just bought, is going to try to be paid by the government to manage those accounts. DOGE has created serious tech problems, gutted staff, and overwhelmed call centers, creating much confusion in their wake. Pay attention, Social Security. Pay attention, Americans. You earn these benefits. Nobody has a right to them but you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield back.
Pursuant to Clause 12A of Rule 1, the Chair declares the House in recess, subject to the call of the Chair.
The Honorable, the Speaker, House of Representatives, sir. I have the honor to transmit herewith a copy of a letter received from Ms. Maria Matthews, Esquire, Director of Elections with the Florida Department of State, indicating that according to the unofficial results for the special general election held on April 1, 2025, the Honorable Randy Fine was elected representative to Congress for the 6th Congressional District of Florida. Signed sincerely, Kevin F. McCumber, Clerk.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Florida seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent that the gentleman from Florida, the Honorable Randy Fine, and the gentleman from Florida, the Honorable Jimmy Patronis, be permitted to take the oath of office today. Their certificates of election have not arrived. but there is no contest and no question has been raised with regard to their elections, Mr. Speaker.
Without objection. Will Representatives-elect Fine and Petronas and members of the Florida delegation present themselves in the well? As all members rise and the representatives-elect, will you please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that you will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that you take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that you will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which you are about to enter, so help you God?
I do.
Congratulations, you're now members of the 119th Congress. Without objection, the gentleman from Florida, Mr. Petronas, is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it's an honor here to be representing the men and women of Florida's 1st Congressional District. As a lifelong native of the Florida Panhandle, I'm ready to get to work to support President Trump's agenda to make America first, to protect our southern border, to make groceries affordable, strengthen our military, and provide much-needed support to our veterans. Without my family, I wouldn't be here today. So I'd like to give special thank you to my beautiful wife, Katie, my boys, Johnny and Theo, and all of the great friends and supporters who made the trip to our nation's capital. Mr. Speaker, with a Republican majority here in Congress, President Trump and the White House, we've got the opportunity of a lifetime to fix this country so our children grow up in a nation that's safe and full of opportunities. So I'm ready to get our fiscal house in order. As a former chief financial officer for the state of Florida, I oversaw the state's budget for nearly a decade. I know what it takes to make sure we have a growing economy with a stabilized budget. I've always believed the people in America spend their money better than Washington, D.C. does. In fact, I can't believe the greatness that we're saddling our children with an unbearable amounts of debt. And the president's efforts to root out fraud, waste, abuse, and is critical to restoring trust in our nation's government. For far too long, Americans have sent their hard-earned tax dollars to Washington without really feeling like they're getting anything for it. Frankly, Washington's been indifferent to the needs of families throughout this country, and we've got an opportunity to fix a lifetime of issues for the better. Like I've said, I'm a workhorse, not a show horse. I'm ready to get to work, my colleagues in this country, together to get this country out of the ditch and returning it to greatness. May God bless America.
Without objection, the gentleman from Florida, Mr. Fine, is recognized for 1 minute.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. 35 years ago, a 16-year-old boy walked through those doors, and he marveled in this room at this temple of democracy as he watched people who gave of their lives, who gave up time with their families, who gave up their careers in order to serve their country. When I spent a year working here as a house page, I learned from so many people, 5 of whom, by the way, are still serving today, what it meant to serve America, what it meant to put the needs of the country before yourself. I want to recognize my family because when I did this opportunity, being a good Jewish boy, my family would not send me alone. My mother, my father, my sister, they moved to Washington. And my mom, who I'll talk about in a little bit, used to sit where Wendy, my father, I want to recognize them. Thank you so much for being here. My sons who are, but my mom used to sit up there and she used to watch me every day. And she used to tell me, Randy, that God has a plan. Now, I believe that when Donald Trump's life was saved in Butler, Pennsylvania, it was so that he could save the world. And it is an honor of a lifetime that God's plan for me is to come and help all of you implement that plan. But today is also a sad day for me, because the person I most wish could be here to watch this can't be here. I will tell you a story about my mom. She was my biggest champion. She was the one who taught me how to fight. And if you don't know me and if you haven't followed me, fighter will be the word that you know soon enough. But one day when I was 16 years old, my mother came with me. We went to the stationery store, which is still in the same place that it is today. And we went into that store, and my mom saw something that she thought that I should buy. She said, Randy, you never know when you might actually need this. Now, I bought that thing that day. I thought it was kind of crazy. And it's been sitting in my closet for 35 years. It's in that bag over there. It is a metal seal that says Member of Congress. And when I leave here and I go back to my office, it will be the first thing that I hang. Because God has a plan for us all. He has a plan for all of you. He has a plan for me. He has a plan for every member of my family. He has a plan for every person who is watching here today. And I believe that his plan in the days ahead is to do everything in our power to deliver on the promise that the voters asked us to do in November, and that is to make America great again. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Under Clause 5D of Rule 20, the Chair announces to the House that in light of the administration of the oath to the gentleman from Florida, the whole number of the House is 433. Pursuant to Clause 13 of Rule 1, the House stands adjourned until 11 a.m. tomorrow.
Thanks for hanging with me, Nikki B. I truly appreciate it. Please like, subscribe today, leave a comment, please. If you want to see something, want to know about something, find out about anything, let me know. I'll find you the information.